She parked her SUV across my driveway, like she owned the ground under my boots. I sat there on my tractor, staring at her car, blocking the only way out. She leaned on the hood, arms crossed, smirking. "You can't move this until you pay the HOA fees," she said, loud enough for my neighbors to hear. But there was no HOA here. I bought this land outright. Cash. Deed signed and sealed. She was bluffing. Again. I clenched the steering wheel tighter, keeping calm. My daughter was inside waiting for me, and the groceries in the trailer were already warming under the sun. "Move it," I said, steady voice. She laughed. "Or what? Call your fake lawyer? This road belongs to us now." That's when she pulled out a sheet of paper, some crumpled letterhead she printed at home, and slapped it on my gate. "Notice of violation. You are trespassing on HOA property. Immediate eviction required." My blood boiled, but I stayed silent. She thought she had me cornered, thought she was untouchable, but she didn't know the one thing about me that no one here did. I had driven tanks bigger than her SUV. I'd cleared blockades in deserts she couldn't even point to on a map. I put the tractor in gear. The engine roared like thunder. Her smirk wavered for the first time. "You wouldn't dare," she muttered, backing up a step. But I kept rolling forward, slow and steady, until the bucket touched her bumper. She screamed, "Stop! I'll call the cops!" I looked her dead in the eye and said, "Do it. But make sure you dial the real ones this time." And then, with one clean lift, I flipped her shiny SUV into the ditch like it was nothing but scrap metal. The neighbors gasped, phones came out recording, and Karen's face went pale. She hadn't expected me to fight back. But that was only the beginning. Her scream echoed across the street as the SUV tilted on its side in the ditch, wheels still spinning. Neighbors rushed out with their phones up, whispering, laughing, recording every second. Karen spun around, her face red as fire, pointing at me like I'd just committed a crime. "You're done. You're going to prison for this," she shouted, dialing her phone with shaky fingers. I didn't move. I killed the tractor's engine and stepped down slowly, wiping the grease off my hands. Calm, controlled. That's what always rattled people like her. She expected rage, but instead, I looked her dead in the eye and said, "Hope you called the real police this time." Her lips curled into a grin when two black and white SUVs rolled up the road faster than I expected. "See? They know who's in charge here," she bragged. Except the uniforms that jumped out didn't look right. Wrong patches, wrong badges. Something about them screamed fake. One of the officers marched toward me, hand on his belt, like he owned the place. "Sir, step away from the tractor. You're under arrest for destruction of HOA property." The crowd gasped. Karen folded her arms like she'd already won. But my stomach didn't drop, because the second I saw that patch stitched sideways on his sleeve, I knew exactly what I was looking at. I'd trained men to spot fakes like him overseas. I raised my hands halfway, pretending to comply, while my neighbor's kid whispered loud enough for everyone to hear, "Why do their cars have no plates?" The crowd started murmuring. Cameras zoomed in. Karen's smug grin began to crack. I leaned in close enough for only the fake cop to hear me. "Buddy, if you're gonna impersonate law enforcement, at least get the uniform right." The man froze. His partner's eyes darted around, realizing the crowd was filming. Karen shouted, "Arrest him already! What are you waiting for?" That's when I pulled out my phone, hit one button, and a voice came through crystal clear on speaker. "This is Sheriff Daniels. Who the hell is impersonating my deputies on County Road 12? The fake cop's face drained of all color. The crowd erupted. And Karen? She took a step back, like she'd just seen her whole world collapse. But she still didn't stop. Not yet. The so-called deputies froze in place, their hands twitching by their belts, as the sheriff's voice echoed from my phone. The crowd pushed in closer, filming every second. Karen's eyes darted between them and me, panic flickering for the first time. But she still tried to mask it with her usual arrogance. "They are cops," she shouted, her voice cracking. "He's lying. He's dangerous. Arrest him before he hurts someone." The fake officer lifted his chin, trying to hold the act together. "Ma'am, step back. We'll handle this." But his voice wavered. Everyone caught it. One of the neighbors yelled, "Show us your badge number." Another shouted, "Why's your patch crooked?" The pressure hit them like a hammer. I stayed calm, watching the cracks form. "Funny thing about this county," I said loud enough for all to hear. "The sheriff's on speed dial with me because I helped him during the flood last year. I know every one of his deputies by name, and you aren't one of them." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Karen's face drained white, but she still pushed forward, screeching, "Do something! Take him away!" Instead, the fake cop's partner leaned close to him and muttered something I couldn't catch. Both of them turned, heading quickly for their SUVs. Karen ran after them, grabbing one by the arm. "No, don't leave me, you promised." But it was too late. Engines roared, tires spun. Both vehicles tore off down the road, no plates, just dust. The neighbors caught every second on video. Karen stood in the middle of the street, her plan collapsing in front of her. The crowd was buzzing, whispering, laughing, filming. She spun back toward me, shaking with rage. "You think you've won? This isn't over. I'll have the real cops take your land. You'll regret this." I didn't say a word, just pulled a folded piece of paper from my pocket. The deed to my land. Signed, sealed, stamped. I held it up for every camera to see. The crowd cheered. Karen stumbled back, her face crumbling. But deep inside, I knew one thing. Someone backing her was bigger than just her. And she wasn't walking away without another move. Because villains like her never stop at losing once.